Hi you all, today we will be creating this illustration in the Procreate app for iPad. So grab your Apple Pencil and your iPad and let's get started. After you create this illustration, if you would like to, there is another video following this one to turn this illustration into an animation. Check it out. If you complete this illustration or if you've completed any of the illustrations I've demonstrated thus far on YouTube, please feel free to share your results and tag me, and they might end up in one of these videos. Just like this work that my friend at Patreon did. Let's jump right into designing the dancer. Click on the brush tool and find Sketching 6B pencil. Tap on this pencil, swipe left, duplicate. Tap on the new pencil, find Properties, and bring the maximum size up all the way. You can change about this brush and name it whatever you like. You can even hit Create New Reset Point if you prefer. Tap Save. Click Done. I will be using this large 6B pencil throughout today's illustration. You can use whatever you like. If you prefer to use calligraphy monoline to have perfect lines, by all means do so. Or if you have another brush that you prefer, please use that. Otherwise, if you're following along with me exactly, we will be using this 6 large B pencil for most of today's tutorial. Let's start by creating the face. Click on the color circle and select whatever skin tone you want your dancer to have today. You can test it out. If you don't like it, just try again. Bring the brush size down and up as needed, but keep the opacity at 100%. Let's start by drawing a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can clean up the edges if you like, and if you prefer to use the perfect circle, by all means do so. To do that, if you're not familiar, make a circle, leave the pencil on the screen, place your finger there, and there you have it. Then fill it in manually. I'm going to make mine kind of more of an oval shape, but you can of course do what you prefer. Once you have the basic shape for your character, click on the arrow tool and push it to where you find the middle up and down orange line. If you don't see that, make sure that this is blue at the bottom and that snapping, but not magnetics, is highlighted. Now we need to make sure to leave plenty of room here at the bottom for the body and the legs that will be dancing later. And I think that's good. You can use the Symmetry tool right now if you prefer to create perfectly balanced ears if you like. But I will just be drawing mine by hand. Turn the canvas whenever you need to create the shape that you prefer. Click and hold the eraser tool to get that same brush to work with. Just make sure to resize it as needed. If you'd like to take some time to make your lines a little bit more crisp, go ahead and do that now. And then we will begin to add the different features. I think mine needs a little bit more of a forehead, so I'll go ahead and add that now. And the cheeks I think I'll make a bit more broad. Maybe a bit more of a chin as well. If you'd like to skip through drawing everything in this way, I would recommend using Monoline and the Symmetry tool. But if you'd like to enjoy the process and go through the slow motion, follow along with me. Here we can add a little bit of a neck. Great, let's begin to design the facial features. If you'd like to keep your elements separated, by all means click on the Layers panel and plus symbol to add a new layer. Choose whatever color you would like to have for the whites of the eyes and place that where you think they should go. So if this is the middle of the face and here are the ears, about right here is going to be the plus sign or the X, the cross, whatever you prefer to call it. So place your eyes wherever you think they should go. You can absolutely use the Symmetry tool if you prefer for this as well, of course. Make your eyes whatever shape you'd like them to be. Ovals, circles. If you want them to be more realistic, by all means do so. Actually, I like how this is a little bit wider, so I'll try to widen this one up a bit more. And that's all right for me, and I think for mine I will add the smile using the same color. So like I mentioned, this is not going to be the most perfect picture today, but it will be a lot of fun. Click on the Layers panel and add a new layer whenever you feel like it. On mine I see there's an extra mark, so I'll go ahead and take that away now. Push it off the screen. On the new layer, choose whatever color you'd like for the colored part of the eyes, and we'll go on. Trying to choose kind of like emeraldy green that will go with my dress later. But choose whatever you like. Click on the color circle and select whatever black you'd like for the blacks of the eyes. And add them in wherever you think they should go. If you'd like to add some little white highlights, you can absolutely do that now. Keep in mind that you can always put things on different layers to test it out. In case you don't prefer it, then you don't have to keep it. Click on the color circle and select whatever color you'd like for the lips. Keep in mind that you can change this if you don't like it. Thin up your brush size quite a lot and add them wherever you think they should go. Two finger tap to undo whenever you don't like something and just try it again. If you have a little bit of extra white, you can hop back on over to that layer and erase it back. If at any point you'd like to move your elements around, you can swipe right if you need to group them together. Use your ribbon or selection tool on freehand with no color fill. Wrap it around, tap the arrow tool, and push it to where you think it should go. If snapping gets annoying, just go ahead and tap on that lightning bolt and turn it off. Click on the Layers panel and click back over onto the layer that we were working on to add in the nose. For the nose, you can use the same color if you prefer. and add it in however you'd like it to be. I really just want kind of an impression of a nose on mine, like a little button nose. Click on the color circle and select whatever color you'd like for the hair. I'll choose mine from kind of a reddish brown area, but I might add different colors in as well. For the hair, add it in however you'd like it to be. You can always click on the layers panel and plus symbol to add a new layer if you would still like to keep all of your elements separated. Bring your brush size up and down as needed, of course. I'm just doing like curly little ringlets, and it's going to be atop her head, but add your hair in however you'd like it to be. Like for mine, because of the way I'm doing this, it will be important to add in different colors. If you'd like to stick with one color, perhaps make your shape a bit more of a blocky kind of readable shape. And here I'm going to have large curls kind of all over the place. And I think her hair will go a little further up on this one because I think I might add a little headband in as well. If you'd like to mix up your hair color, click on the color circle and choose something different. Maybe lighter, maybe darker, maybe a totally different color, whatever you like. If you'd like to add in freckles or blush, you can absolutely do that as well. And switch between your colors whenever you need to. Click on the Layers panel, tap on the face layer, add a new layer above that, and add in little freckles or eyebrows, blush, whatever you like. I want her to look a little happier than that. And as always, use your ribbon or selection tool on freehand whenever you need to adjust your elements just a little bit. Add however many freckles you'd like. And if you don't like it, if you made it on a new layer, you can just delete that layer and move on with your life. Bring the opacity down if you're going to add some blush and see what you like. For me, I think I will click on the Layers panel, tap on the face layer, Plus symbol to add a new layer, tap on this new layer and select Clipping Mask. And I'll see if I like this. I might change the color of the red to something a little bit lighter. Bring that opacity back up and try it out. Oh, far too light. When you don't like something, just keep trying until you get it right. You can always bring the brush size up and the opacity way down if you'd like to add texture over the entire thing. This is only if your layer is right above your skin. And I just saw that I have another piece that's kind of additional that I don't want, so I'll figure out where that is and I'll get rid of it. Ribbon or selection tool, wrap it around the area you think it's in, arrow tool, and then push it out. Good. When you're done adding your texture to the skin, if you decided to do that, just make sure to bring your opacity all the way back up and we'll continue. Click on the Layers panel, tap the very top layer, plus symbol to add a new layer. Click on the color circle and select whatever color you'd like for the dress, or at least the base of the dress. We can add decorations to it, of course. I think I'll take the eye color I used and make it a darker color, but please do whatever you like. Change your brush size as needed, but keep that opacity at 100%. So for me, I can already tell that my head is probably going to be too large, and that's all right. We can work with it and adjust it as needed later on. Let's start with the base of the dress, what would be basically the shirt area. So we can draw, change the brush size as you need to. We can draw around the neck a little bit here. And then let's go out kind of straight shouldered, but perhaps a little bit angled down. About the same length on either side, of course. And let's taper that into a triangle. This is a doll after all. It doesn't have to be human proportions, but if you decide to do that, absolutely feel free. You can color this in by hand, or if you created a closed shape, go ahead and color drop. I'm trying to keep the basic texture that I've created for the rest of the features, so I will be coloring by hand. As the young students in some of my live classes have mentioned, why would you ever color anything by hand if you can color drop? Sometimes it's about the process and enjoying it. Sometimes it's about the texture. It's whatever you like. If you are using Monoline, go ahead and skip ahead to the next part. Otherwise, draw on with me. Let's create a kind of like bell-like shape for the tutu or the bottom part of the dress. Once again, if you prefer to use Symmetry, by all means do so. I think I'll make mine just a little bit shorter so that the dancing legs can be there, and I'll still have the frill at the bottom as well for this part here. When you have your basic shape, however you'd like it to be, go ahead and fill in the color however you prefer to. If you'd like to, click on the Layers panel, plus symbol to add a new layer, and drag it beneath this one. Once again, I see I have an extra thing floating around, so I'll go ahead and figure out where that's at and get rid of it. On this new layer, let's create the arms. Once again, as you can see, mine is far too large, and I'll have to resize here in just a moment, but I'll show you how to do that when we get there. Using the brush tool on this new layer, draw your arms basically straight down, and the hands will be in fists at her side. And here you can make the cuffs if you prefer. We can always add fringe or frill to this later. Same shape on the other side. You can always duplicate this if you'd like to save time. If you ever see that you have an element that's a little bit too large, just wrap the selection tool around it, arrow tool on freeform or uniform, whatever you like, and resize it. For example, I'll click on my dress and I'll make it just a little bit shorter using freeform, and perhaps a little thinner too. I think I like that placement a bit better. Click on the Layers panel, tap on the layer beneath the arms, plus symbol to add a new layer. Choose the color you've been working with for the skin tone, and add in little hands. Keep in mind we won't actually be seeing a lot here, so you can distinguish the knuckles if you want to, but you don't have to. Same thing over here. Once again, if you have an element that's too large, use the ribbon or selection tool, wrap it around, arrow tool, and resize it. Before we decorate the dress, let's go ahead and resize if needed. So if, like me, you need to make your doll smaller or larger, click on the Layers panel and swipe right on each of your layers to highlight them blue. You can even tap Group if you like. Just make sure to hit that caret so that the group is highlighted. Arrow tool on Uniform and drag the bar in. Make sure to leave enough space below for the legs. Click on Snapping and highlight Snapping so that you can find the center of your piece again. When you're satisfied with the placement and if you feel you have enough room for the legs, go ahead and after you've made sure you found that middle orange line, click the arrow to get out of it. I think I will use my green color again. Click on the Layers panel and find the layer right above the hair, plus symbol to add a new layer and put a little bandana up here. I think that will look nice for my character. And as you can see, I've used the ellipse tool to make it a bit more round. If you don't want to add that for your character, you don't have to. But I like the idea, so I'm going to do it. I think I'll make my bandana just a little bit thicker. I think for mine, my hair is not quite fluffy enough, so I'll grab my color I've been using for my hair, and I'll go back to the layer actually right beneath it, add a new layer so I can add separately in case I don't like it. I just think there would be a little bit more volume here. So I'll add that in, however I think it should be. Notice I'm adding it at the side of my brush because I want it to be a little bit more see-through, a bit more like shading. I think that'll be better. Ooh, too much. Never too much. Okay, great. I think I'm personally ready to start decorating the dress before we add the legs, so let's go ahead and do that. Click on the Layers panel and find the dress layer. Plus symbol to add a new layer if you prefer to keep your elements separated. Tap on this layer and select Clipping Mask. Here, because I would like the dress itself to be mirrored from left to right, I will set up the Symmetry tool. If you'd like to do the same, follow along with me. Click on the wrench and Canvas, Drawing Guide, Edit Drawing Guide, Symmetry, and if your line, like mine, is not in the center of the dress, go ahead and find the center, or the approximate center if yours is turned like mine. And then when you basically found it, go ahead and tap Done. Now choose whatever colors you'd like to and decorate your dress however you'd like it to be. I think I'll choose a bit of gold for mine, but choose whatever you like. And change your brush size and opacity as needed, of course. Switch to different colors as needed and go to the arms when you're ready. You can add new clipping masks if you prefer. And make sure to turn on Drawing Assist whenever you'd like. Here I see that my dress is a little bit too long on one side, so I'm actually going to bring that back. And get back to the other layer before I continue working. Add as much or as little of this as you'd like, and we'll go on. If ever you see something you'd like to edit, go to that layer and do that. For example, I'm going to add in some creases here to the ears to make it look a little bit more realistic. If you don't want to do that, you absolutely don't have to. And perhaps I'll go to the skin layer, add a new clipping mask, and add a little shadow underneath her chin here, very subtly. Continue adding color to the dress if you prefer, and we'll go on. So here are the arms, plus symbol to add a new layer. Tap on this layer, clipping mask. Here for me, I don't think that the Symmetry tool will be helpful because I did these arms separately. If you use the Symmetry tool to create your arms, then it will be helpful to you. I will try to use it now, but I might have to turn mine off. I can already see mine's not going to work, so I'll go ahead and shut that off now and draw each of these by hand. That's where the Symmetry tool definitely comes in helpful and handy, but if you decide not to use it at times, you're going to have to just draw things in by hand. If you've got a bandana and would like to do the same thing, go ahead and tap on that layer now, plus symbol to add a new layer. Tap on this layer, clipping mask. If you have a symmetrical bandana, tap on this layer and drawing assist. Otherwise, draw it in by hand. Okay, let's add the fringe or the frill in. If you prefer, if you don't like it, just skip this part. Above the hands and below the dress, the arms, and anything else you want it to be beneath. You can use the dark green color to start if you prefer, or begin with the light, whatever you like. Just make sure to add a new layer and begin. I'm just doing mine pretty scritchy scratchy, no big deal. If you want yours to be perfect, use the Symmetry tool, of course. If you'd like to go over it with another color to just show the difference, I think I'll use the other green I have been using, or perhaps the eye color. The eye color for me does not show up enough, so I will switch to that lighter, brighter green I have been using, and just add it in very lightly, wherever I think it should go. Alright, you all, so we've completed the drawing portion, except for the legs, so let's create one set of legs, and then we'll begin to animate. Click on the Layers panel, find the bottom layer, plus symbol to add a new layer, but click and hold this layer and drag it beneath everything else. Choose whatever color you like for the legs and shoes to be. If you want them to be different colors, by all means do so. When you have your color picked out, let's begin. Let's begin by drawing one leg that has a point. So this will be basically standing on tiptoe. So approximately the hip would be here, of course. Draw a line down. Have the other line basically matching that. This is a doll, so you don't really need to distinguish the knees and the calves and all of that, but if you want to, by all means do so. Color in the shape. And if you think your leg at any point is too wide or thin, use freeform. Use the arrow tool on freeform to modify it. So here we'll make the shoe just a little bit wider, but once again we're going to end it in a point, almost like a ballet dancer. Go back and forth between your eraser tool and your brush tool until you have the shapes that you like, and we'll go on. If you don't like your color, feel free to change it at this point. And let's begin to add in the other leg. So here this leg instead will be pointing out. Try to match the general width. And here's a break for the knee. And then we'll have this one either behind or in front of the other one, however you want yours to be. And just go ahead and fill it in. Clean it up with your eraser tool, of course, as needed. And when you like your shape, we'll go on. If you think that your legs are too long or too short, go ahead and adjust those now. Arrow tool, you can use freeform, or if you like, you can just push them to where you think they should be. Turn off snapping if it gets annoying. This looks like a good base to start with. Two-finger swipe right on the layer to alpha lock it. If you'd like to color in some shading, switch to a darker color. This is not something that is necessary to do if you don't want to, but if you'd like to, go ahead and do that now. For me, I'm also using this to color in the shoes. I'd like this shoe to just be a little bit longer, so I'll switch over, turning off alpha lock and adding in a bit more to this shoe wherever I think it should go. I think it should just be a little bit longer and perhaps a little bit wider. All right, you all, great work on this illustration. Let's go ahead and do a few extra steps to begin to turn this into an animation. So click on your gallery. Tap Select, tap on this artwork, duplicate. Now we've got the original illustration and we've got another one to work with. Click the X to get out of that and then tap on one of them. It doesn't matter which. All right, you all, this is the end of the illustration portion. If you'd like to do the animation as well, go ahead and switch on over to the next video.